Hi everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to activate LAS for NetScaler ADC and SVM. But before getting into the demo, let's review some details around LAS, or License Activation Service. There's a hard deadline coming up on April 15th, 2026, and customers who miss it may be impacted. Now, the upside is that LAS will make life significantly easier. No more manual license file management and automatic entitle updates on renewal. The migration is straightforward as well. 3 steps. 1. Upgrade your key products to LAS-enabled versions. 2. Register those products. And 3. Activate it with LAS. And I'll be walking through how to do that today. And to close, you can find more documentation on the Citrix support site. And I've also provided a link to NetScaler specific guidance, and you can find both of these links in the description below. If you haven't started planning your migration yet, now is the time. Now, let's get into the demo. In this video, I'll be covering how to activate LAS for NetScaler ADC or SVM using fixed bandwidth licensing. To start the process, log into your NetScaler device. Once you log in, go to the System tab on the far left side, and then select Licenses from the drop-down selection. In this example, I'm using a VPX that is not licensed and is running on Express mode. In order to generate the LAS activation request we'll need, click on the tab LAS Offline Activation. So on this page, there are 2 options available. One option is to use the host name of the NetScaler in the request package, or the second option, you can mask the host name and use a unique system identifier, which is shown here. That choice is yours to make. Now, let's say I want to do option 1 and use the host name. The next step is to click the Generate button. This will generate an activation request package that you will need to download on your laptop. Once the file has been downloaded, go to your Citrix Cloud login on citrix.cloud.com. This is where you can find your entitlements for activating this VPX with the offline activation blob you've just downloaded. So go ahead and log in again using your credentials. Once the login is successful, you'll be asked to select an account. Be sure you select the account where your entitlements are present. Once you've logged in, click the boxes in the top left corner of the page and then select Licensing. Once on that licensing page, open the Licensing Deployments tab on the far left side and then select NetScaler ADC SVM. The next step is then to click Create Profile, the button on the top right, and upload the activation blob that you just downloaded. Once uploaded, the Citrix Cloud portal will read the activation request package and identify the platform for which the request was generated. In my case, it is for a VPX. Based on that, I will get options to select the instance type and the entitlements which are available. So, for example, in my account, the VPX 10,000 Premium Edition is one of my available options. So I'll select that 10,000 megabits per second option and then click Continue. The next step is then to generate the activation file for LAS. So LAS has found the entitlements and has given an activation blob for this device. So now it is ready to be downloaded, so go ahead and click Download. Once the download is successful, we'll go back to our VPX page and then upload the downloaded blob we just received from LAS. Once the upload is done, it'll ask for an activation request. Select Yes, and then you'll get a message from the GUI prompting you to reboot the system. This reboot action is a warm reboot. So once your device is rebooted, you can log in again, and now you should be able to see the license details for your appliance. So you can now see that this device is licensed with a Platinum license type with a 10,000 megabit per second capacity, and the license mode is LAS via fixed bandwidth. So now we'll take a look at the licenses page in the system settings once again. We can now see the current status for LAS is active, and we can also see the most recent date of activation. Also, we're able to see when our upcoming renewal date will be. And in a very important note here, be sure to keep track of the upcoming renewal date and ensure that the activation blob is renewed by this date by following the same process again. This means generating the activation blob again and then downloading that activation request package. Now, in the event number 2, where you do not want to use the host name, make sure that you record that identifier, as you will need it when you search the Citrix Cloud page. So, in the case of not using the host name, when you log in to Citrix Cloud and navigate to NetScaler ADC SVM, you will need to search for this identifier you were given. Once doing that search, you will find the device listed over here. Then click on Renew Activation. From here, you follow the same process as we saw in the first example. Upload the activation request package and follow the same steps as earlier, making selections from the drop-down boxes. From here, click Continue and then Download. Once that new activation blob has been downloaded, you go back to your VPX, upload that blob back to your VPX, and then you will be LAS compliant. Thanks for watching, and we hope this helped.